All right, welcome to the lounge, episode 21. Once again, I'm your host Sebastian, and I'm joined by James, Dory, and Mitch. They're on a rare appearance.
Yes. It is good to be back.
Okay, awesome.
I
Of the
think. I
so-called
hope.
king.
Mitch has been out making friends, making enemies, probably making arch rivals. I don't know.
Doing stupid things like having a
Contributing to
job.
the economy.
How dare you?
Right?
I know.
Doing some dumb shit
I
like
know.
contributing to capitalism.
I-
What the fuck?
Yeah, this
I
podcast
did
is more
also-
important than your job. So
Yeah.
tell your boss I have a
uh,
podcast.
Tell your boss. You're like, I need to drive down the viewers on our
We
podcast.
must have
It's
content.
important.
Yeah.
That's right.
You don't understand it. I have to. I did also go to Hamilton Island. One of the weeks, a month ago now, which was surprisingly great. Actually, no, not surprisingly. It's a fucking holiday resort island. I don't know what else I was expecting, but I did lots of reading. I managed to finally finish Itchy Tasty, the book, which is a fantastic read. I'm bummed that it only got up to 2008, 2009, so before Resident Evil 5 came out. Like, it doesn't cover the entire series, it just covers the period in which Shinji Mikami and co are actually there. But it's good, and I don't know why, but as soon as I finished it, I just went out and impulse bought the Hideo Kojima book, because why not? I guess I was just in the mood for books written by video game creators or about them.
Have you seen there's a Hideo Kojima movie, a documentary coming out?
Oh, I was gonna make a joke and say
Really?
just watch Death Stranding or Metal Gear Solid.
There's a documentary about him. It was at some film festival recently. Coming out this year. It's
I know people
apparently
say. Oh, go ahead.
apparently it's a bit like it kind of sculpts the documentary's kind of sculpted around him
They
and
just-
like his
Okay.
ego.
And does it say directed
Yeah,
by Hideo
yeah.
Kojima, executive producer Hideo Kojima, produced
No,
by
no.
Maybe.
The real
Cameraman,
question
Hideo
is
Kojima.
how many times it
Best
says
boy.
directed by Hideo Kojima, you know?
starring
right.
Hideo
Like,
Kojima.
yeah, exactly.
It's like Tommy Wiseau, except a little bit more artsy. You know, I know people
Yeah,
make these
exactly.
jokes, but it is. We were talking last night, and I realized how wild it is. How many things Kojima has goddamn predicted. I mean, the rise of social media, 9/11, the pandemic. God, there's another one that we were talking about too. But even just that alone is fucking crazy.
Was he in The Simpsons?
Hideo Kojima predicted that planes would hit the Twin Towers?
Didn't he, like, in one of his games, in like one of his earlier games or something, that was like one of the plots or subplots or some shit? I thought it was. Maybe he just talks about.
That-
9/11 so much
that would be
I know
oddly
Metal Gear
specific.
Solid 2.
That'd be scary. September 11th, at the World Trade Center,
yeah.
two planes.
It was
He
Metal Gear Solid
specifically
2, I
said-
think.
Kojima did.
I think the Metal Gear Solid 2 was
memes.
supposed
That
to
was the
come
other
out.
one. Memes from
Yeah.
Revengeance.
We've already gone off the rails completely.
We have.
Yeah. But as James was saying though, Metal Gear Solid 2 did have to have its ending altered slightly, because it was coming out right after the Twin Towers were hit.
Right.
Because I think the ending was
That's what I was
supposed to be
Yeah.
set on the Twin Towers. I think
It was like Ground Zero.
set
or
on the
something,
Twin
or
Towers,
that
or
area.
It was supposed to
Not a
I
good
don't know,
look.
basically revolve around that similar imagery. Yeah.
Somehow we got from
So-
book reading to 9/11, but what a transition that
It's
was.
the- it's
logical.
five-
It's a logical
Hideo Kojima. That's
5
the power
degrees of
Kojima.
Hideo
But
I don't
Kojima.
know what else you
as,
can-
but Mitch, as an English teacher, I am proud of you for reading books. So good for you.
Great job, Mitch.
Good for you. You get a gold star from me. Gold
Speaking
star
of
on the
reading books,
on the, on the chart.
I read my 1 year of rest and relaxation. I recommend it. It's a great book. It's about this woman
Oh, yeah.
who's drugged up for a whole year and just sleeps all the time. It's
The
awesome.
fuck?
And he-
Okay, wow.
It's not.
okay.
It's not. It's not.
It's like the
fiction, but-
opposite of.
no.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But I mean, it could happen. Anyway,
it
wow.
could.
So video games,
Anyways.
everybody. Video games are back.
All right,
Games are
so
back.
Rest and relaxation.
So today we're going to talk about the THQ Nordic Showcase that kind of just just went by like the
Happens.
wayside. Yeah, it just happened.
Yeah.
Then we're talking about the Gran Turismo movie, and then we're going to talk about the Blue Beetle movie. And then I'm going to talk about Madden, which I know all you guys are excited to hear about. And
Oh
then-
yeah, let's fucking go.
And then we're going to talk about our top 5 PlayStation games of all time. So let's start with the THQ Nordic Showcase. So randomly in the middle of the summer, like after Summer Game Fest, we got a showcase. And it actually had a good amount of games I'm interested in. And there was a good amount of games I could care less about. But one of them I want to talk about. I mean, the first one I want to talk about is South Park, the Snow Day. It looks like a multiplayer South Park game, which is really cool. What'd you guys think about it?
Yeah. So, I mean, to be completely honest, all I've seen from it was just this brief, like just what that brief
That's what we all seen.
pre-rendered
We all
trailer.
seen- That's all
Yeah,
I think
well,
that
yeah.
exists. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It's just like at first I just kind of assumed that it was a mobile game, because they've had quite a few of those type of games. Like I think they had like a Clash Royale South Park ripoff. It looks alright. Like I think I prefer the style of the two Ubisoft games that they made. The Stick of Truth and the Fractured Butthole.
Yeah, I mean that's like RPG. This is a multiplayer.
Yeah, well, I think it's more in the sense that like I never like it when they take a 2D show and translate it into 3D for a game.
Yeah, it does look a
I mean,
bit.
maybe it's just yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, like it's an interesting idea, but at least like though like the two RPG games at least showed that you can just directly translate the South Park style from the show into a video game and have it be completely seamless. I don't see why they had to change it, but I don't know. Maybe they've got a really good gold mine of stuff for the gameplay. So, but I really we just don't know anything about it.
I mean, do you guys think it's
Yeah.
going to be free to play, or do you think it's going to be like
No,
$30,
I
It
$40?
looks free to play.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like
Yeah.
free to play.
Yeah, I mean, I
you'd
gotta be real.
assume so, but
I
don't
haven't
think
been
so.
into South Park in a long time. I never really played any of the turn-based games, and I'm just not into that kind of humor anymore. So this does nothing for me. But obviously, the two games that did come out, Fractured But Whole, and the Stick of Truth, which is the proper way to say that one, Mitch. The other game I mentioned. But anyway. No, I was joking.
Oh,
I was
okay,
joking.
right. I said.
But anyway, graphically, I look at this game and I feel like I'm playing a PC game in the 2000s or something. And I'm not really into South Park anyway, so it's a dud for me. But I mean, maybe it'll be fun. I'm always a sucker. We were talking about this, but I'm always a sucker for the wintry aesthetic. I like experiencing winter in fiction. Not in real life, though.
Yeah, especially since I don't experience winter here, so I've never been in
Yeah.
snow before.
I'm in New England, so I always experience winter,
So
whether I want to or not.
My take on this game is that, given the amount of stuff in the trailer, we've probably already spent more time talking about it than we should have.
Right.
yeah. So next game I want to talk about is Alone in the Dark, which they didn't really show anything. It was mostly just like the characters talking, but I just wanted to briefly give it a shout out because I am definitely interested in this. I mean, it's the granddaddy of survival horror. We wouldn't have Resident Evil if not for Alone in the Dark. And Alone in the Dark's been it's been in a rough state for like 20 years. The franchise has not been able to find its footing. So I'm really hoping this game is the reason. This is like what brings it back. Like the last thing we got was like a garbage 360 game, and then it was a garbage movie, and then
Yeah.
it's been like that was like what 15 years ago. So
Was it a Uwe Boll directed Alone in the Dark movie, or am I
Yeah.
thinking of something else?
Yeah, that was with Christian
Yeah.
Slater,
God.
I believe.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeesh.
Yeah, that movie's bad. Not even like a fun,
Yeesh,
so fun, it's so fun, like so bad it's good kind of vibe. Like something like,
Just
like
just
some of his
bad.
movies are like so bad. Like some of his movies are like actually just like fun to watch with like people
Like
and
Blood
roast the shit out of it. But like that movie
Yeah.
is just like not interesting, like just boring. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I-
thought the facial capture here. Maybe it's just that it's David Harbour, like it's just David Harbour, and so I find that distracting. But I thought something was off about the facial capture with his acting was fine, but I don't know,
Yeah.
something was off about this.
it's not the
I don't
best
know
It's a
if
looking
little
game. Yeah.
yeah,
it's a
It,
little
it definitely
kinda
looks like a.
janky, low budget kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
But and you can definitely tell. But I think you could probably get used to that pretty quickly. If the
Yeah,
game's
I don't think
good.
it's a huge
And-
deal. It's just that the trailer was all about it, and that's all I could focus on.
Yeah.
and
They're
look
trying.
at.
They're going
So.
they're going for a cartoony look. Like it's still like real. They still have like human models and everything, but the original game had a cartoony look to it as well. Like it didn't go for like realistic, like Resident Evil.
I'm
So
I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the general consensus of this game is, but my interest level for this game dropped down a few points as soon as I saw that they got like Hollywood actors in the lead roles. Just because
I can see that.
historically, that has never really been a great thing. Like it's typically been a sign of, oh, look at us, we're trying to be legit, even though we really aren't and don't have the budget to support it. So we just poured our budget into like the actors and instead of putting it into actual polish and whatnot.
I mean, it's not like
that's
there's like
true.
there's not like
Like, I
there's
haven't-
15
I haven't
actors
s-
or anything in it though. It's just like I don't,
No, it is only the two of them, granted, but it's I don't know, like I think like hopeful skepticism, I think is the word to describe how I
Yeah.
feel about it.
My-
Yeah.
I can
Go ahead,
I can
Jay.
definitely see that maybe some of the budget got pushed from animation over to casting
Yeah.
during the budgeting process. But I'm hopeful at least that if the script is good and the story is good, like the performances will follow because
That's
David
it, yeah.
Harbour knows what he's doing. More on that later. Jodie Comer
yeah.
also knows what she's doing.
Yes.
So, I mean, there's potential.
Yeah, I mean,
for
and-
sure.
yeah. This game's not gonna
Yeah,
have a
if
huge
you-
budget anyway. I mean, it's a
No.
Alone in the Dark's not a big franchise, so
Mm.
I
But-
could see
yeah.
it going either way.
I-
Though. I could see it being like an
I
8,
never-
or I could see it being a 5.
Yeah, I never grew up
Yeah.
with it. I have no nostalgia for it. I actually even barely knew about the series until this remake happened, and I grew up playing Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 1 and 3 and stuff. So I was probably the target demographic for this kind of game. But so I played the demo too. I mean, it's not much of a demo. It's like I don't even know what you would call it.
it's not even the
it
target
looks
demographic
in-
because it's like that was like before us. Like it came out like when we were like,
right.
were
Yeah, I
babies.
guess that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played the demo. I wasn't super impressed with it, but I'm not like I wasn't like turned away either. I'm in a very kind of wait and see
Yeah.
approach with this game. It looks good, and there's some pedigree here, and I'm hopeful that it's good because I love me a good horror game. So we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic, like Mitch said. I think.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I'm 50-50 on this game. I'm not like super excited about it. I'm definitely interested. I mean, I love survival horror, but it's never been my favorite like franchise or anything. I never really even played the original game. I just know a lot about it because like I've written articles about Resident Evil and I've always referenced it so much, and I know it's the granddaddy of survival horror. Like I mean, Resident Evil coined the term survival horror, but the first Resident Evil game borrowed so much from it, like the inventory management and the exploring mansion and the zombies and stuff. So, and then Gone Home as well. But anyway, my biggest problem with this game is not even the game itself; it's just the release date. It's too close to Spider-Man and Alan Wake.
Yeah.
And this would have been a perfect Halloween game, but like everybody decided to put their games in late
In
October. Late October, especially. So
late October, yeah.
I mean, I got Mario, Alan Wake, and Spider-Man all within like 5 days.
Even Assassin's Creed, one of the biggest franchises in the world, like moved itself up because it's like, no, I don't want any of that smoke. Like, I'm good.
As it should, because Spider-Man's gonna probably make at least 20 million. So,
Yeah.
Or sell at least 20 million.
Yeah.
The first game did, so.
Yeah, it sold like 23 million.
Especially since PS5's stock is they're going flying off the shelves right now. And it's only it's even $50 off right now. So everybody's gearing up to get Spider-Man. It's gonna be a huge seller for Sony.
Seb, you know Alan Wake got pushed back, right?
Did it get pushed back?
Yeah, by like 10 days, I think, or
did
something
it?
like that.
So November. So it's in November now.
No. Maybe not 10 days, but it got pushed back like a week or so after Spider-Man.
I guess I missed that. Oh, okay.
Oh shit! It did too.
10 days. Yeah, I see that.
That was like 2 days ago. How did I even see that?
Yeah, they pushed it back to avoid Spider-Man specifically, I imagine.
That's a great move on their
Wow.
part, actually.
Okay, that's a good move. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
My thing was, I wish Spider-Man came out in like next month instead of October. Like, I just feel like that would have been better in September. I guess they didn't want to. I just didn't want to go with Starfield, but I don't know.
Isn't September quite patched as well?
Yeah, but Spider-Man is like one of those things that can just like it's the scary juggernaut, not the other games. So Spider-Man comes in and everyone else is gonna move.
Yeah, I mean, Assassin's Creed is moving not because of Alan Wake 2 and Alone in the Dark. As much as people are looking forward to Alan Wake 2, it's because of Spider-Man.
Yeah, Alan Wake. Even Alan Wake is like, it's not a huge franchise by any means. A lot of people just have nostalgia for the first game.
Exactly.
And then Sony's marketing as well.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's been good marketing. I am excited to play that. I hope it's good.
It's pretty wild because I always associate Alan Wake with Xbox. Like I always thought, because Alan Wake I always felt like it was like an Xbox exclusive. It was one of like, and then now Sony's like so much marketing into Alan Wake. So
you know what I always associate with Xbox? The color green. You know what else I associate with the color green? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Look at that segue.
There you go. Bam.
Well, I mean, technically.
Go ahead.
God damn it.
Yeah. Well, wasn't the last Ronin comic book in black and white, or am I just remembering
All
that
right.
wrong?
Well, wait a
That's
second.
true.
Originally, TMNT was in black and white.
Black and white.
So the last. I mean,
Scott Pilgrim.
I don't know how. Oh, I'm so excited for that Netflix series, by the way. But
I knew you would say that.
yeah, but the last Ronin. I'm curious, like first of all, because I know Nickelodeon's like publishing this game. How dark is this game gonna be? Is it gonna be like they're gonna push the boundaries of like a rated T or rated E game, or is it gonna be like full on rated M game?
Rated E. I mean they
A10.
I mean Nickelodeon still published the comic book in the first place, so I'd imagine they'd, I'd be shocked if they were like trying to push to censor it or something.
I think it's definitely gonna hit a T rating. I think it's gonna be a T rating.
Yeah,
I doubt they do.
So we're not getting full on gore and like decapitation,
I doubt
like the
that.
original
Yeah,
comics,
exactly.
like the original. Comics.
Even like originally when TMNT was about as hardcore as it ever got with Eastman and everyone else who was working on it, it was violent, but it wasn't like a gore fest. Like
No.
I think there was blood
Yeah.
every now and then, but it wasn't. Bones crunching.
I mean,
whatever,
Shredder gets his head cut off by one of the turtles, but that's
true.
But I don't recall.
But I don't think they show a lot of blood.
Yeah, it's not like pushing.
I mean, in
it's
the
not.
first
It's
you
not
wanna talk
berserk.
about-
Yeah.
You want to talk about messy? I mean, Shredder gets put in a trash compactor in the first live action film, doesn't he?
Yeah, and then
My God.
and then he just like kills himself in the second movie. He just like knocks the wood
Right.
over and falls in the water.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
They don't even fight him. He just kind of just falls in the water.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of lame, but he
you're
drowns.
right. He always dies in a lame way in every movie.
Yeah.
Now that I
that's
think about it,
unfortunate.
yeah.
Yep.
But anyway.
If you want to talk about lame Shredder appearances, just think back to the second Michael Bay Turtles movie, and how he, he literally did nothing but just stand around and listen to Krang for that whole movie, and then like the second he actually put like his proper Shredder mask on, Krang's like, "Yep, frozen."
Yeah,
You're
isn't
gone."
that crazy that like he's such an iconic villain, and like every time he gets a live action appearance, he's like he dies in a lame way. He does like absolutely nothing.
He's basically the same as Megatron in.
I mean,
all of the
I grew
Michael
up
Bay
with him being
Transformers
lame.
movies. He
in
just
the,
gets shafted in all of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up with him being lame in the '80s serialized
that too.
TV show. He was incredibly lame in that.
Although
I mean, his voice actor was great. Shout out Uncle Phil, but like yeah, I mean, he was having a debate with Bebop and Rocksteady about fishing versus fishing. I mean, he wasn't exactly.
That's true.
Yeah, even by the late '80s, he wasn't exactly the fearsome opponent he used to be in the comics.
That's definitely true.
I used to be feared, damn it.
They really made the Turtles like little kids shows. Ironically, the Ninja shows we grew up with in 2003 were like way more dark than the one in the 80s.
The 2003 show. I gotta go back and watch that at some point. That show rocked.
That was iconic.
Yeah. I literally just a couple days ago I was watching a video about like the troubled production history of that show, and one of the episodes that was pulled from was pulled from viewing was literally an episode where Baxter Stockman transferred his consciousness into like a clone of his own body, but then like throughout the episode it literally just like melts and like crumbles away. So like by the end of it there's exposed muscle, like his like arm bones are showing, and his face is all falling apart. Like it looks like a friggin' like John Carpenter like Thing body horror type thing. I'm like, holy shit! If I saw that as a kid, that would have like terrified me. Yeah, the Turtles.
So let's talk about the actual last Ronin. So all the Turtles are dead except for Michelangelo. He's the last one surviving.
I thought it was Raphael.
I thought it was.
Is it Raphael?
Is it Michelangelo?
No, it's Mikey. It's Mikey. Okay. Yeah, it's Mikey.
Who knows?
Wow, really? I thought it was. Wow.
My only concern from this trailer, from what I saw, is the fact that like there's robots, and I always hate when games like all the enemies are just robots. I don't want that. So
I mean, that's probably. I mean, if we're being honest, that's probably how they're going to get away with like
I know.
Having like the swords and stuff actually decapitate people, which.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, like out of the two options, I kind of prefer that idea over
it is
having.
Michelangelo. Wow.
Over having like katanas and swords and stuff just kind of like whack people instead of like actually doing any damage. That's the thing I always found funny about certain video games and stuff, where it's like you'd be playing as Leonardo and he'd just like probably chop someone in half, but instead it's just like, nah, I'm gonna just tap you.
Yeah, we don't really get a lot in the Turtle games.
Sticks.
Now that I think about it, I mean,
we don't. The last one. I mean, Mutants in Manhattan was like the last big one that we got.
Well, 3D one, yeah. From
Platinum Games, yeah.
That was garbage, though, or at least mid.
Yeah.
The 2D one was incredible. The 2D one was really, really good.
I thought.
Oh
Shredder's
yeah,
Revenge
right. We
was
had
good,
the
but
that's what I'm talking about. Shredder's Revenge was really, really good.
Shredder's Revenge, yeah.
But yeah,
I'm not big into the beat 'em up, but yeah, this seems cool. I don't know.
Actually, the DLC just came out for that as well, I believe, for Shredder's Revenge.
It just got announced.
It did, yeah.
Anyway, it looks good. I think I don't know if I've heard this or not. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think it's like God of War gameplay. I don't know if it's gonna be like behind the back, kind of third person action. So that'd be cool.
I'd be interested to see how it goes, to be honest.
Yeah.
You ready for my contribution to this topic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
What is this? Zack Snyder's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle?
Oh God. Prepare for a 30-minute tangent.
You shut your damn mouth, James. Zack Snyder is a national treasure, and he. I don't know.
Make it widescreen and black and white.
I don't.
This isn't your.
No. You gotta go.
Whatever.
4x3.
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 Yeah.
4x3.
This isn't your dad's Michelangelo. This is.
I always think back to the Batman v Superman press circuit, where like the movie had just come out and there's like the big controversy about how Batman's killing people and that, and it's clear that Warner Brothers was trying to get Zack to do damage control. So like there's just this interview of him going, yeah, well, he doesn't exactly kill anybody, like he shoots the car and blows it up, but it's like he's just kind of indirectly killing the guy, he's not actually directly shooting them, and he's just trying to make all these bullshit excuses, and it's just like,
so
yeah.
So there's gonna be blood and gore
Yeah.
everywhere, and then you're just gonna see Mikey
Yeah.
sitting on a body eating pizza, and it's gonna be.
He's just going to be
Yeah,
on like
edgy.
a throne of skulls, just like and just like eating pizza.
No, he's
Great.
gonna sit on a gargoyle like a 2003 superhero movie where he just like
Yes.
sits there and grieves in the dark. Yeah. All right, let's move on. I think we've hit on this topic enough.
Yes, we have.
So
Yeah.
James, can you talk about the Gran Turismo movie? Is it a good
The
The
movie?
gamer movie.
Yeah, the gamer movie. Did you
Did
actually
they,
like
did
it?
They
Gamer
gran?
movie.
Did they
Yeah.
gran the Turismo, James? And how hard did they
I-
gran the Turismo?
Yeah.
I am sorry to report that the
Oh.
film is actually good.
Damn.
Yeah.
Why the- I
hate
told
to
you it
see
was
it.
gonna be good. I told you like it looked like a solid movie. Like it didn't look like a shitty like that Need for Speed movie they made with what's his name.
Yeah.
Like you just knew the movie was gonna be
Aaron
garbage.
Paul.
Yeah, you knew
Aaron
the movie
Paul.
was gonna be terrible, but this one actually looked good.
Well, I mean, the Need for Speed. I mean, I thought the stuff leading up to
I
the
remember
Need for
la-
Speed
I
movie was
remember-
quite promising because like they
I
were using
remember.
practical effects and they were actually crashing real cars and stuff, and it was very cool. Anyway,
They were killing real people in car
Yeah.
accidents caused by Dominic Cooper or whatever the actor was.
yeah. So yeah, let's listen. It's I don't want to seem cynical when I say that I didn't want to enjoy the film, but look, right, you go into this film, and the entire first act in itself is cynical. Like the entire first act is essentially an advertisement for Gran Turismo 7, which is kind of what I expected, right? I'm sure it's what most people kind of expected.
Is there a PS5 anywhere in this movie? Like an ad in the back or whatever?
The guy, so the story is based off like something that happened with one of the older Gran Turismos, but in this film they use Gran Turismo 7, so the guy's playing Gran Turismo 7 on PS5 and that kind of thing, and you
Naturally,
see like Gran Turismo 7 logos and stuff everywhere, and like there's even a scene in the first act where Orlando Bloom's character is up on a stage and he's giving a speech to these marketing guys, saying, Gran Turismo is the greatest game ever made.
Oh.
And this kind of stuff.
Forza
this
sucks.
is- exactly. It's very clearly an ad for Gran Turismo 7. But once
Yep.
you get past that first act, the thing that surprised me the most about the film is that the emotional elements, the emotional narratives and through lines and stuff, they actually work really well. Like maybe better than most films I've seen this year. Like
Interesting.
it hits on a lot of particular beats about Jan, the main character, and his relationships with like his father, and like, yeah, I mean it gets that stuff so right, which surprised me because I was expecting a 2-hour long advert, which it is in some ways, but it also gets the other stuff right. So if you can ignore the advert, there's a lot of good stuff. And Orlando Bloom, like, I mean, I want to talk about the acting a little bit because I don't know if it's the acting or if it's just the character and like the direction of the character, but Orlando Bloom's character is awful, incredibly annoying.
Every single line I heard out of him out of the trailer just sounded like he was like, I don't know, some random Hollywood actor that they pulled off the street to like go into the E3 stage, and they're just trying to like fake how enthusiastic they are. That's the vibe I got from him in the trailer.
But Mitch, I remember we were talking about the trailer at some point for the film, and you were saying, I think, that you thought David Harbour's character was going to be incredibly annoying because he kept saying
gamers.
But he's actually one of the better parts of the film. Like
his character
is very kind of
like snarky,
kind of sturdy, and like You know what I mean? Like it's very.
Yeah.
He's like there's a lot of depth to that character that the film kind of gets
Oh,
into, and that's
okay.
another one of the emotional beats.
Right.
So, you know, it's highs and lows with that. One gripe as
Yeah.
well, and I'm just going through the bullet points basically. But
Yeah.
one gripe that I did have is the approach to realism, and I find that a lot of films that focus on racing get this wrong. Some get it right, but a lot of them get it wrong. This is why I didn't like Ford versus Ferrari, which
okay.
is a very popular film. A lot of people like that film.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it because it kind of has this approach to the story that it's telling it to an audience that doesn't know anything about cars or about racing, which is fine because in most cases it is, and it's correct in that. And that will be why it appeals to a mass audience. But at the same time, that film felt to me kind of very much like it didn't give audiences that did know their stuff kind of the respect that they deserve.
Yeah. Okay.
And this film is not as offensive in that regard, but it does step over the line in terms of realism quite a lot. For example, like there's a character who at several points during races in the film actively tries to kill other drivers.
Whoa.
Like he'll ram into their cars and force them against walls and stuff. This would never happen.
I would have loved so much if the main character just leaned out of his window. He's like, "Bro, this isn't Burnout. You can't do that."
Wow, this is so fast. This is like the PS5's SSD. You should
go
out now and buy it. Go out now and buy it.
But it's
wow,
like
I got the new
kind of
Ratchet and
stuff-
Clank. So go ahead, sorry. Go ahead.
That kind of stuff kind of steps over the line, and that kind of pulls me out of it. Pulls me out of the experience of the film in a lot of ways.
Sorry,
Sure. They gotta dramatize it.
I
It's
just
a
want to
movie.
quickly add.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly add onto the joke as well for a second. I just love it if there was a scene where like the main character like walks past like like the pit stop or whatever, and he sees like someone actually like using like a wrench or something. It's like, wow, Ratchet and Clank reference.
No, what they should
fuck.
what they should do if someone's driving like right like at the final race, he hears like voices trying to motivate him, and you hear like Kratos' voice.
Oh no!
Come on, boy! Like, do it, boy! And then you hear Aloy's voice, and you hear Ratchet's voice, and like all the PlayStation characters like push him like in the back with their hand, like it's like an anime moment. Everybody pushes them over.
They're all
Have
like, their energy like a spirit bomb.
Have a Rise of Skywalker moment.
Yeah,
Where they all the gamer spirit.
you see like Sackboy.
They really do lean into like
Oh, God.
they really do lean into the video game stuff as well. Like
I was gonna ask that actually. Yeah.
Like
what is
have
the
scenes-
what's the most like offensively gamer stereotype thing that they do in the movie? Like what's the cringiest part in the movie that you felt as a gamer that's like, oh no, that's
Okay,
rough.
so there's a scene early on in the film where it's like it's real life and like they're not playing Gran Turismo and they're out at a party and they're getting pulled over by the police because they've been drinking and they're kind of driving all over the road and stuff. And
Right.
they try and like it's the main character is the one driving and he's trying to get away from the police like because he can't get arrested because he's got this event tomorrow that he needs to get to, and it goes into like Gran Turismo vision like, and they do a thing that I actually really like, right, where
Sponsored by PSVR.
They put the camera up behind the car like it is in the video game. And I really like that. But then,
yeah, okay.
and that's like a cool thing. But they also overlay it with like a racing line and all the Gran Turismo UI.
Oh, no.
But it gets and that's that again. I can live with that. But then when he escapes the cops, a thing comes up on the screen that says "Mission accomplished." Like it's
The only thing worse is he was dabbing and then drank a Monster Energy drink and
I almost dabbed, but I didn't.
I mean, at that point, I wouldn't have felt
bad.
it placed. But,
tell me he was wearing
tell
me he was wearing a PSVR helmet like at least some point in the movie.
I don't think he was actually. I don't.
I mean,
think so,
PSVR
That game
came
saved
out
that saved the
well
game.
after,
Yeah,
but that came
But-
out well after this movie would have been in production.
that's true.
I'd say.
Yeah,
but and they do a lot of that kind of stuff, which I'm not a fan of. With like, where he's like, "Oh my god, I know this." I mean, there's that line from the trailer as well. Like, I know this
Yes,
track. I've
yeah.
heard it 1,000
I've
times
watched-
before.
I played Mario Kart. I know your secrets. I know
Exa-
this trick.
thankfully, like there isn't much of that stuff. Like it's pretty much just what you see
Okay.
in the trailers.
There's no blue shell
right,
or anything
okay.
like that.
No, there's no blue shell.
He just
But,
takes out like a blue turtle from his window.
Yeah, but back to your
Sorry.
what you were saying earlier, Seth,
Yeah.
about like they need to, like with the guy crashing into other drivers and stuff, and like they need to dramatize it. I mean, I get that, but I also this is the problem I have. Like a lot of directors seem to think that in order to make racing exciting, you need to have some guy who's trying to kill everyone. But
It's true.
like you just don't like you can make racing exciting. Racing on its own is exciting when there's excitement in the race, like when there's good overtaking and there's good competitive racing and stuff. That's exciting on its own. And the film, I wholeheartedly believe, because the film is so good in the way it handles the racing, right? I wholeheartedly believe the film would not have suffered at all if they just removed that part. But they do have the problem where a lot of the action, like they need to show that this guy, the main character, is like the best. He's the best of the best.
Yeah.
And like he's gonna win everything. They need to show that, but the way they do that is not by like. But sometimes they have him like make smart decisions and make good overtakes and stuff. But most of the time they do it by either having all the other drivers around him be absolute idiots and very slow, or they have the other cars be very slow and just kind of obstacles that he has to drive around as he's just speeding
Yeah.
past them somehow. Which is kind of just exactly like Gran Turismo 7. If you play Gran Turismo 7, that's the biggest problem with that game, is like the AI is just on a path and all the cars are slower than you and you just have to drive past them.
Yeah.
So
okay.
in that way it's kind of it fits, it works. But the other thing is the other compliment that I have to give the film is the cinematography, and I had a feeling that this was going to be one of its stronger points based on the trailers and stuff. It looks incredible. The way the racing is shot is some of the best I've seen. Like, again, to use a comparison to Ford versus Ferrari, all the racing in that film is very kind of special effects heavy, and it just doesn't look real. In this film, I mean, they kind of lean on CGI a bit more in the third act, but in the second act especially, the racing is so well shot, the cinematography is so well photographed, and the audio design as well is brilliant. You kind of, seeing it in the cinema at least, with the surround sound and everything, like it almost feels like the car is underneath you. Like, it really kind of immerses you in the racing experience. And I think it does that a lot better than a lot of other racing films.
Well, it fits the
Okay.
franchise very well, because the franchise has always done that a really good job. Even though Gran Turismo 7 has a lot of problems, like it's still, like, that franchise has always been incredible, like just with the cinematography and like the realistic focus on real racing. Like Gran Turismo 7 did a great job as a tribute to racing. Like the opening is amazing tribute. So it fits really well. I think it was a really smart idea on this movie's part to make it like a biopic film. Because then you're someone because you can make someone you can root for like an underdog story and have someone to root for, and it wouldn't be some generic like Fast and Furious wannabe kind of movie. You can actually tell like a legitimate sports story, because it's like a sports movie, even though it's a game. Even though it's technically a video game movie, it's a sports movie. So
Right, because it really is just a racing film.
yeah.
Once you get past the first act, it really is like a racing kind of underdog, rags to riches kind of story. In that because it's not an adaptation of a game. It's just a film that happens to use a racing game's IP. basically.
Which helps the movie, I think, more
You
than
think?
anything else. Yeah, because it could have been just like a generic video game movie with all the. It feels like it has to pay tribute to everything and do all these references and.
Oh yeah, sure.
Instead,
Alright, yeah.
it
In
just
that
tells
sense,
it just tells its own movie, its own story.
in that sense, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of inoffensive that it uses the Gran Turismo branding
Right.
because I mean that lends it more credibility. I maybe wouldn't have seen it if it wasn't called Gran Turismo.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Yeah.
will help it be more successful, and it doesn't hurt the film.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that it's constantly advertising you a £70 game, which is atrocious.
I mean,
it did in a lot of ways feel like I was watching a 2-hour ad for a game that I hate. So it is a miracle in that way that I came away enjoying it so much.
I mean, if you think about it, Sony's done. Sony's film division is not doing great, and like I know, like they just had their they just released their numbers, and PlayStation, like the console's carrying that whole company on its back. But they've done a pretty good job with their movies and shows so far. Like Uncharted, I didn't like Uncharted, but it sold very well. People really like people. The audience showed up and watched that. Twisted Metal is really well liked by a lot of people, and
Twisted Metal, yeah.
and now Gran Turismo has been well received. So I think Sony's doing pretty good with their video game adaptation so far. So
Yeah, they just need
And we get
something
Spider-Man.
that moves the needle. Like,
yeah, because outside of
they get
Spider-Man,
that, they'll be
they have
on a roll.
nothing in movie wise. Like that Spider-Man franchise carries that whole studio. If you think about it, like Across the Spider-Verse and all that. Like that's carrying it on its back. Like what's the other animated movie they made? Emoji Movie. So.
That's
No,
true.
I mean technically they've made Mitchell's versus the Machines. That was another fantastic one.
That was on Netflix. Wasn't it?
Cloudy with a Chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was
Well, I
made by
mean-
Sony. Like it was originally going to come out in theaters, but
was like
COVID happened, and then there was
that was like 10 years
Cloudy
ago.
with a
wasn't
Chance.
it,
Meatballs.
No.
No, Meatballs.
No,
wasn't that,
no,
like, 10 years
which
ago?
was Meatball. Yeah, that was 10 years ago. Yeah, but that was Chris Lord and whatever Miller, and they both went on to produce Spider-Verse. Sony, I mean, like modern or recent Sony is just covered or carried by Spider-Man and that whole IP for sure. But has the Sony side of things done anything else other than what Uncharted, Last of Us, you said Twisted Metal, and now this Gran Turismo? They haven't done anything else, have they?
No, I don't think so.
Not like the
yet.
newer age.
There is
No.
other stuff in the works, though.
There's a Horizon and there's God of War.
There's Horizon, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima.
I honestly don't I don't believe any of those movies will actually come out until I see that they're actually
Yes.
filming
Yeah.
or I
We-
see
we-
a trailer.
God of War is
'Cause-
gonna be on Amazon, which I don't really trust. I think Amazon's fumbled every project they've
No.
had. I mean, I thought Rings of Power was okay, but it was not.
Yeah, it's like you don't exactly want it to
should've
be
been-
okay.
They hyped it up to be like a masterpiece, and it had a lot of problems.
Yeah.
It had the most beautiful cinematography and all the budget in the world, and it doesn't. That goes to show you can have like $5 billion on a movie or a show, have the most beautiful scenery and like armor sets and everything, and the show or movie still sucks because the writing sucks. So writing should be the main focus always. But anyway, I'm glad it's good. I want to see it. I'll watch it when it's on a service or whatever.
It's definitely
That's
worth
what I'm
seeing.
gonna do,
Yeah, I mean, sure. There's no need to rush to see it if you're not a Gran Turismo fan.
Yeah.
There's no need to rush to see it if you are a Gran Turismo fan. But yeah, definitely worth watching.
Especially
and,
Go ahead, sir.
one final point on the film before we move on. I can confirm he does in fact go from gamer to racer.
Yes, that's what we pay the big bucks to see in
Thank
the movie
goodness.
theater for.
Thank goodness.
That's what we pay
I
the
knew-
big bucks for.
I watched the whole documentary on him, like on 30. It was a 30 for 30 on
Was it?
ESPN. He was a
Oh.
very famous story. Yeah, it's actually a real true story, like a legit.
Fun
thing.
fact as well. The real guy is he the same? Does he have the same name as?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but the real guy, he actually did the stunt work for the film.
Oh wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's okay. That's cool. That's cool.
That's like it's insane. A gamer actually became a legit racer just from playing racing games. So I even that I must have watched that like 10 years ago. Now that I think about it, like
if you've got like a full on racing rig, like the full like bucket seat and pedals and steering wheel.
Yeah.
Like
you too can be a racer.
Why it wouldn't be like close to the real thing.
James, is this your announcement that you've now signed for F1?
Yes,
put the hat on. Put the hat on. I
I've
am now sponsored by.
Yeah, I've had to decide my sponsor to be fuck Gran Turismo 7 or whatever.
I am now sponsored by Forza Horizon 5.
That's right.
I am now sponsored by Ubisoft's The Crew.
It's that meme where it's like friendship ended with Gran Turismo 7, friendship started with Forza or whatever.
Like right now, like James's door opens and like Phil comes in and is like, dude, he gives him the Microsoft hat. Anyway,
God, I wish that would be great.
And he's like,
anyway,
Phil's
the
like,
point is, James
Phil's like, Gran
genuinely
Turismo
really
sucks.
liked this film, and we spent the whole half hour shitting on him, but
So I'm glad it's good. I knew I was
other
confident that movie looked good.
I am glad it's good. I'm not gonna see it. Racing movies are not my thing.
I am a sucker for sports movies. Big sucker.
I'm glad that we finally got a half decent or good video game to movie adaptation, but I also love how it's going to be completely forgotten in, come even like 2 to 3 years, and people are going to still go, oh, there's never been a good video game to movie adaptation. It's just going to get forgotten.
I'm just glad we're getting
Same with
I'm just glad we're getting a racing movie that's not like going into space and all that shit. So.
Those films are not racing films anymore. They haven't been since like the
they're about family. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of a movie about family, Blue Beetle. That's
Yes.
I'm not even joking. Like that, the main focus of the movie is the family, because even in the comic books, his family
make a cameo or no?
No, his family supports.
I mean, George
him.
Lopez.
Yeah.
George Lopez is in
wish
it.
my
I guess that's
family
something.
supported me.
Sorry, yes, Blue Beetle.
No, but his family supports him. Like his family is like real big characters in this movie. Like they're in the movie like 80% of the time with him. Like they actually do things and shoot. They fight. They actually fight the soldiers and everything. So they're not just like supporting characters. Like they're not. They're actually like they. I don't want to spoil it, I guess, but they actually play a huge role in this movie. Like they do. They even. I don't know. I can't say without ruining it, so I won't say it. But basically,
but they have an important role.
Yeah, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Especially the grandmother. The grandmother like stole the show. Like she was so memorable. She's like
I saw
commando.
a bit
so
from
cool.
the trailer.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I saw a bit from the trailer where she had like a freaking like minigun or something. I don't know. Something. So, how is this movie in terms of continuity? That's my first big question. Because
now,
one moment we're told that it's going to be setting up for the James Gunn thing, then it's also unconnected.
I don't know, because it name drops Batman, Superman, and Flash. So they're already established, and Batman's called the Fascist by George Lopez. That was in the trailer. But
I couldn't believe my ears when I heard that. I was like, "Let's go."
So I really don't know. I mean, this movie doesn't really need to fit in anything because it's its own side movie. Because Blue Beetle's not a major hero. I mean, he's always a side character when a big.
The only thing Blue Beetle's ever been like the main character in was like Young Justice season 2, I want to say.
And like one episode of one episode of Smallville.
Wow, he was in Smallville.
Yeah, he was one episode.
That was with Booster Gold, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
That whole episode.
Can I just
I'm
say,
very impressed that you know that.
Lot of main characters being called fascists in popular movies this year.
Yeah, it's
really? What's the other one?
Barbie.
Was
Oh, that's true. They called Barbie a
Oh
fascist.
yeah, that's true.
oh right.
See, now we just need a Hot Fuzz remake, and we can have other people being called fascists too.
So, Blue Beetle
Hot Fuzz.
is a great movie. I think it's like an 8 out of 10. It definitely has flaws, and it's definitely formulaic. It does do the typical superhero origin story, but it does its own take because, like I said, the family is like a major part of it. Like it's in the trailer, but he literally gets the Beetle like in his body in front of his family, and they all like, and he works together with his family. It's not like. He's not like Spider-Man where he's trying to keep it a secret. Like it is like Iron Man where he's openly Blue Beetle. Like he's like in the middle of the street, and the whole community knows he's Blue Beetle. Like that's how it is in the comic books too. So, it's unique because well, first of all, you get Hispanic representation. You actually get a Mexican superhero, which you usually don't ever get. Like you never get that perspective. He's not a teenager in this one. He's like 22. But he's still like really young. He's played by the guy from Cobra Kai,
I'm not even gonna try and pronounce his name because I'm just gonna butcher it. But
but he's fantastic. Like he's straight out of the comic books. Like he was the perfect choice to play Jamie Reyes. Perfect choice. Like I like even the suit itself was like right out of the comic books. Like it looked fantastic. Even in motion, because I think it was a practical suit or mostly a practical suit.
It was.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
The CGI in this movie is actually really good.
I actually saw something that from the director that said he intentionally chose to go for a more practical route, like especially with the suit, to take the burden off of the VFX workers. Like, and this is like before all the strikes and all that happened as well. Of course. So yeah, like apparently, like they shot like on location for a lot of their fight scenes and stuff, and weren't too reliant on green screen backgrounds and stuff, which is so refreshing to hear. Like even as someone who likes The Flash and all that, like that movie suffers big time from lots of green screen and blue screen and just everything.
That's the problem with Marvel too. There's too much reliance on CGI.
Yeah, Marvel's
which hurts their workers. Yeah.
Also, Mitch, you're way too open about how much you like The Flash. I'm actually concerned for your safety.
That's
I'm
not on Twitter anymore.
There's a gun off camera. Blink twice.
Even I'm about to mute you. So.
Yeah, I'm not on Twitter
anymore. Even I want to strangle you right now.
I have the gun to my head as much.
But
I'm surprised too at first, but now I'm just like I don't even care. Like it's a good movie. Like all the real life terrible shady shit aside, if you're comfortable separating that from the movie, I think it's a great time that has some god awful CGI that I'm shocked even got remotely approved for release. But it's a good movie. But it's a great movie, actually, I think. But anyways, back to Blue Beetle, which is also a great movie.
So yeah, the making it a practical suit was a really good idea because like in motion, cause there's a lot of action scenes in this movie. It looked fantastic. Like because most of the CGI was just like the shield and the wings and stuff like that, and it looked really good. Now the biggest problem with this movie is just that like it's formulaic. The main villain is Susan Sarandon. She's as generic as it gets. Yep. Like with big CEO wants to take over the world with like robot army. You know, it's a very standard like basically the plot of Ant-Man or. It reminded me a lot of the Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man movie with the villain, Yellow Jacket. Not with the shrinking, just like the fact that like just there's something about it that reminded me of like the way the suit looked, I guess. But the other villain, the side villain, I forget his name.
I was about to say
Ignacio.
Sabak, but that's
it's like Ignacio or whatever. He actually has a legit story arc, and like at first he comes off as the generic like bodyguard, big tough guy that like gets killed at the end. But he actually has a legit story that's actually really heartwarming. Like every outside Susan Sarandon's character, every character gets like a lot of emotional support and like actual story. Like it's not just like a generic villain, generic like he's the bad guy. And he just like shows up, pouts, and fights the guys, and then blows up. Like he actually has a story about him and his mom like dying and that's not really a spoiler, but that's what, like it shows you why he became a villain. Like it's very sympathetic. He's like a really sympathetic character. I didn't expect that at all. I was like, what? And I was like, really, it was actually quite emotional. Even with like the dad, like Jamie's like parents and stuff, like it focuses on like how Mexican like Americans have to like struggle and like work hard and like it actually, this movie has a lot of heart. It's not just like a standard like he's just like he's a superhero on the side and he just tries to hide it and he does generic things, and it actually focuses a lot like on like what it's like to be a Mexican American. So it's about family. I'm trying to avoid saying that, but that's basically what it's about. It's like it's all about community. It's a really tight knit movie. It really tells a good story. It is formulaic, but it's not formulaic in like a ton. It does just enough differently that you won't feel like the same movie you just watch 100,000 times. If you don't like superheroes, or you're not really interested in superhero movies, or you're burned out, whatever, you're probably not gonna like this movie.
Gonna change it.
Yeah, it's not gonna change it. This movie is. If this movie came out 3 years ago, it'd be a huge hit. But now with people kind of like, I'm not feeling like superhero movies, especially in August where everybody's kind of gets back to work. People are not really interested in like big blockbusters anymore. This movie is not going to be a huge hit. But I really recommend this movie. I think it's a good. If you told me this was the first movie under James Gunn direction, I would say it's a really good start. It's not incredible. It's not going to change the landscape. It's not one of the greatest superhero movies ever. It's not as culturally impactful as the first Iron Man movie was. But
I was literally just about to ask that. Yeah,
it's not that, but it's a very solid. I can't even say 8 out of 10 is solid. I think 8 out of 10 is very good. It's a very good 8 out of 10 movie. It's not. I think it's above 7 out of 10. It's not just an average Ant-Man, Quantumania kind of shit. It's just like, cause Thor 4 and all those movies are like generic. They're like, I don't think they're bad. I just think they're like blah. Like when I watched it, I was entertained, but then I kind of forgot about it when I left. You know what I mean? But I wasn't like this movie sucks. I hate it. I'm miserable. I was fine when I left.
I said it on the Discord like a day or two ago, but like I think the big problem with superhero movies nowadays is that people are just like, if anything, people are just burnt out on like 6, 7 out of 10 movies.
Yeah. That
are just like okay or passable, as opposed to just like flat out superhero movies as a whole.
Yeah, they're just tired of the formula, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think Marvel needs.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Marvel needs
even me,
go ahead.
Somebody who doesn't watch a lot of superhero stuff anymore. I mean, like, I loved No Way Home, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Spider-Verse, TMNT if you count that. I mean, there are still good superhero films being made, but it's not really as prominent as it used to be, I think.
Which is ironic because people say, "Oh, superhero movies are dead. It's a fatigue." Da da da. Like every movie you just mentioned was a hit, so it's that's a Twitter thing. You can't go by Twitter because everything's the worst thing ever. Yeah, everything's the worst. Like if you like, people think Thor 4 was like the worst movie ever made, and then like the majority of the audience thought it was like, oh, it was okay, it was fun.
Yeah,
but like when people go on Twitter though, oh my god, the CGI was the worst thing I ever saw in my life. I can't believe they made this. I hope everybody dies. Everybody that made this movie should die. That's what Twitter is. Women in a movie. How dare you?
This was the end for Marvel. 10K likes, 5,000 retweets, like 10,000. It's like, who are you people? So like, go away.
So when I defend Marvel, sometimes it's like, it's not because like I'm a fanboy. It's more because like some people just talk like a hyperbolic way. They can't have a reasonable adult conversation. It's always like everything's like the worst thing ever or the best thing ever. It's never like, it was a 7 out of 10. I was entertained. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not going into Doctor Strange expecting, like I said, Citizen Kane, or I'm not expecting Oppenheimer from Thor. Like if the movie, if a superhero movie can do that, like Dark Knight, or it's on that kind of level, then amazing. But I don't go into those movies like expecting like to be blown away. And that's not the point of the movie. Like it's like seeing Sharknado and expecting like Oscar performances. I want to see fucking flying sharks and people getting eaten. Give me what I want. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
It's still incredible to me because Marvel, I mean, if you look at their track record, they have like what, 2, maybe 3 movies over the past 15, almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 years, something like that, where they've only had 2 or 3 movies that are rotten or have a rotten rating and stuff like that based on critic consensus.
But if you
That's-
went by
that's incredible.
but if you went
The
by
funny thing
20,
is that,
if you went by Twitter though, is you would think half the movies are rotten.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, the funny thing is that really, the rotten stuff only started happening post Endgame. I think Eternals, which came out 2021, was the very
Sure.
first Marvel thing ever to be rotten, and that was I remember at the time it was the end of the world for some people. It's what, a Marvel movie rotten, getting mixed reviews? What is this? And now it's
yeah.
with the way the tide, the conversation has
Sure.
has turned.
Do you know what I think
It's
it is,
oh yeah,
though?
everything's rotten now.
I think it's the Call of Duty problem,
Mhm.
where every Call of Duty game, according to the players, is the worst thing ever.
Mhm.
But if you
Yeah.
compare them to other games, other shooters,
Mhm.
they're still very good. It's just they're not as good
Oh,
as
yeah.
previous Call of Duty games, and so they seem like
Exactly.
the worst things ever.
It's also nostalgia stuff too, because it's I remember growing up, and I'm sorry to bring this up too, but the the prequels and stuff for Star Wars were
Yeah.
heavily criticized and very badly reviewed, and 3 was okay by most people, certainly the best of the trilogy. I don't really think there's any denying that.
Yeah.
But now in retrospect, people are actually, The Phantom Menace, really good film. If you think about it,
Yeah.
I'm no,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna think about
People
it.
always
Shut
do
the
that.
fuck up.
I mean, Last Jedi. Yeah.
Even George Lucas is I think I've gone too far in a few places.
I
You know,
remember
it's
that,
like
yeah.
poetry.
George
It rhymes.
Lucas.
No,
Yeah.
You know-
fuck off. It's
okay,
bad.
okay.
Yeah, Last Jedi sucks so
you
much
see-
that Phantom Menace is a masterpiece. Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, we say this now about how people have this cultural revisionism about
That's true.
how movies sucked and all that.
Yeah.
I think Spider-Man 3 is my favorite of the original trilogy. That's
Why did we
I
bring
know
him
that's
back?
my
Yeah.
Why did we? He just likes it because Tobey Maguire dances.
Wow. First, so you like the Flash
I
and
mean-
Spider-Man 3? Get out of here.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
I'm glad
I
you
know,
left
right?
Twitter. I'm glad you left Twitter.
Honestly, I think the main reason why Spider-Man 3
No wonder why you get shit
is-
on Twitter.
At least, yeah, that's why I left. They all hated me on there, so I moved on to another website. No,
Don't worry,
but,
Mitch. We'll hate you on here too.
I'm going on Threads to hate you too. I'm gonna go on Threads just like I hate Mitch page.
hashtag.
Mitch gets a lot of hate. I don't think he gets enough.
hashtag Mitch is over.
I'm gonna go on every post you
I'm-
make and troll you. I'm gonna go on every
I'm
post you make and
kinda-
troll you.
I'm kind of with Mitch on this one.
Seb's time on Threads
Thank you.
is going to
Thank you.
spike by 200%.
Thank you,
and
James.
It's just going to be his biggest hater.
Yeah.
No, Seb. Well, sorry, no. James agrees with me.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know that it's necessarily my favorite of the 3, but I think it's a good movie.
Spider-Man 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's
Okay, look,
Bad.
honestly, the biggest, not the biggest, but a big part of the reason why I would, if I had to watch any of the 3, just on a random day, I'd choose the third one first, is because Mary Jane actually passes the Bechdel test in that movie. She doesn't in the first movie or the second
Of
movie.
course. Yeah.
Mary Jane is fucking abhorrently written in the first 2 movies. In the third movie, she's still not great, but she actually has something to do.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
other than-
I will agree with that, but Raimi's just
Yeah.
not very good at, generally speaking, writing women.
yeah. He usually
No.
makes them damsel in
No.
distress, especially the
Yeah.
evil
I
dead.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
he wasn't very good with
Yeah.
Doctor Strange too, from what I hear, for what he did with Wanda. So he's really never been good.
Oh,
at writing.
No, she was the best part of the
He
movie.
didn't write that.
Oh, was she?
He didn't.
I thought a lot
mean,
of people didn't
yeah.
like the way her character was handled.
I thought she was the best part of the movie.
That's mainly just.
Maybe
That's mainly
that's-
just
maybe
Wanda
that's
stands on
Twitterism.
Twitter.
I just
Maybe
thought
that's Wanda
I just thought
Stans,
she I thought she should have got her own movie. I don't think tying her with Doctor
Yeah.
Strange. I think that was a mistake.
Yeah, that made.
Because
Well, I
they
mean,
tried to do a
I-
multiverse movie and a Scarlet Witch movie at the same time.
Yeah,
and it
exactly.
contradicted
That's
to
fair.
Yeah.
The thing with Doctor Strange 2 is that unfortunately Sam Raimi did come into the movie like as the script was pretty much already finished. Because like what I watched the
Yeah, it's
behind the
true.
scenes documentary they put out on Disney Plus, and like they talked about, like the writer talked about how like it was always his idea to make Wanda a villain and all that stuff. But then, because of how secretive Marvel is of their own projects internally,
Yeah.
he didn't have full access to the WandaVision script. So obviously, there's some continuity issues and stuff there.
Yeah. That's
I
understandable.
I think like especially for like Christine, since she's like, you know, the romantic interest, quote unquote, for that movie, she's much better than, like, you know, Mary Jane or any of like Sam Raimi's previous
That's
movies. Like the female characters
But-
in those ones were. But then again, I can't exactly directly credit Sam Raimi for that because he didn't
Sure.
write the movie. He just kind of came in to direct it.
The
at
thing is,
the last
though,
hour.
the thing is, like, even though you're right about Mary Jane and but the Spider-Man 2, if before the Spider-Verse movies came out, Spider-Man 2 is the greatest Spider-Man movie ever made. Like, because the writing in that writing in the movie is just incredible. Like, it's it's almost
Can I
a
say
perfect
my
movie.
hot take about that movie? I don't think Peter should have lost his powers in that movie at all. I think that was the exact wrong choice. I think he should have, like, they still should have done the Spider-Man No More thing, but completely take out the fact that he's losing his powers.
Yeah.
Take that aspect out. I think that whole emotional arc would have been 10 times stronger. That's all I'll say. Because, like, have him walk past a guy, get beat up in the street, and then, you know, have him, like, still choose not to do anything because he is committing to not being Spider-Man. Like sure, it makes him more of a dick, but that's also so much more compelling than, oh, well, even if I did go in and help him, I'd still be,
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but
beat up. Yeah,
I just think
that's like a whole hour-long conversation to really delve into that we just don't have the time for.
I think the writing in the first two movies are just way better than the third one. I just think, given the first one is very, 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 very cheesy. It's intentional that way. I mean, he did the Evil Dead movies. I love the Evil Dead movies. They're masterpieces, and like it fits Spider-Man so well because he does a comic book thing. It just feels dated.
Yeah.
The CGI in that movie is just garbage. Like, it doesn't age well at all. But
it's better than the Flash. I'll give it that. Like,
that's not saying
like
much.
it fits. Yeah, I mean it both is and isn't, but yeah. Are we talking about Evil Dead or Spider-Man?
Yeah, we were moving on now.
Yeah.
We're doing good on time though, by the way. So.
Yeah.
But I hit on everything about Blue Beetle. I think
going with this. We'll work our way around to Snyder at some point. I just know it.
Yeah.
I do have a question actually.
Yep.
Now that you Seb, now that you've seen Blue Beetle, who is your favorite Beetle? Is it Blue Beetle? Is it Ringo? Is it George? Is it Paul? Or is it John?
I thought this was going a different direction. For some reason, I thought James was about to make a Beetleborgs joke, but now I realize that's dumb. He's probably never seen Beetleborgs.
First of all, for me, it will always be John Lennon. But now I want a T-shirt with Blue Beetle with the Beatles. Like, that'd be an awesome T-shirt.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God. Have a picture. Have a T-shirt of Blue Beetle walking down the same street, the Abbey Road.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
have him, his whole
dang.
family, everything.
That's
so
probably
good.
a T-shirt somewhere. But yeah.
Oh man, or have the Beetleborgs.
That'd be so awesome.
That'd be great. Have them do it.
I'm actually
There's gotta be that
I'm actually a big
Gotta
Beatles
exist.
fan. So yeah, my favorite would be John Lennon though. But let's move on to your favorite topic, football.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, woohoo!
Yeah, so football is right around the corner.
Yeah.
So anytime
team?
Right.
Madden always comes out like mid to late August, so that's when you know football is like a couple weeks away. I'm so excited. Of course, Dolphins actually just played today. But Madden,
You mean hand egg?
yeah, whatever. No one cares. But you do kick the ball. To be fair, a lot. Like,
It's not a ball though, is
You're a
it?
sports team.
it is a ball. You inflate it, so yes, it's a ball. But
But it's not ball shape. Look,
it's still a ball. Ball doesn't have to be a sphere to be a ball. It's still a ball. I'm just saying. It's called a football.
Sure. Whatever
anyway.
helps you sleep at night.
But so Madden 24. I mean, if you depends how you look at it. If you look at it as like, is it anything new? No, it's. If you go by like the internet reactions, it's gonna be like all ones, and people are gonna like hate the game and stuff. but it's still gonna be a huge seller because it's like if you like sports games like I do, like I love every type of genre, like almost every type of genre of games, and I'm actually a big sports fan because normally people associate sports fans, sports gamers, with just sports games only, and they don't play anything else, right? But I'm one of those rare people that plays everything, and I play NBA 2K and Madden every single year, and Madden's my guilty pleasure. I really, really love. It's my kind of game where I just get home and want to play football for like an hour. It's the perfect kind of game. That's why I always put the most hours in. More than any other game every year is Madden, just because I always like to put like an hour in or something, or half an hour, if I'm bored or just want to kill time. This game doesn't do anything different. Mostly, it's pretty much the same. So obviously, if you're looking for something new, don't get it. But if you're like me and you're the audience, then you're gonna get it. There's a couple things I like about it better. Go ahead. But go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just thinking of the time IGN just copy pasted their one of their FIFA reviews because the game itself was just a copy and paste of the previous year, which was a copy and paste of the previous year. Yeah.
I know I'm contributing to. Sorry. I know I'm contributing to EA's greediness, but whatever.
I mean,
they're gonna make millions of dollars regardless if I buy a game or not.
Step, they're not gonna stop or start based on your one purchase.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not one of those people that feels
they're gonna keep being greedy bastards anyway.
Yeah,
that and EA gave us like the Star Wars Jedi games, and they gave us Titanfall 2.
So I'll let them have a Madden as a treat.
Yeah,
as a treat. I'll let them have it.
Exactly.
That's fine. Whatever.
They did Jedi Survivor, so they could have a Madden.
Yeah, so you get Madden exactly.
Yes, that's it. That's a freebie.
Really quick tangent, like I would get into FIFA. I actually like soccer. I just don't click with the soccer games for some reason. I don't know because the main focus of that and Madden is the card system. Like people collect the cards. That's huge. Everybody loves that mode, the MUT system. Like it's like trading cards with the football players and soccer players.
Is that the Ultimate Team? Yeah,
the Ultimate Team. That's like the global huge like people go crazy. Like there's huge giant YouTube channels like on FIFA that like make tons of money. It's like doing that live reactions and shit like that. Madden's the same way. Madden does the same thing. I mean, obviously it's not as big as soccer because soccer's the biggest sport in the world, but in the U.S. Maybe Canada, the Madden MUT team the Ultimate Team is really popular. For me, gameplay wise, the AI is like hit or miss, like always. The defensive players are a lot smarter. Like when you throw a ball near them, they swat it down. The corners and the safeties are a lot more smarter. The offensive line blocks a lot better. I thought the blocking was terrible last year. It feels good, like when the players move. Like the physics is pretty good. Sometimes the players get tackled and they like fly, like unrealistically, like they do like WWE moves on them. It's kind of weird. It's mostly fine, but sometimes it's like, what? Why? Like in real life, that'd be like a penalty and a $200,000 fine. Not even joking. Because NFL is all about like player safety nowadays. Like you can't do as much anymore because concussions are a big problem.
It must be so difficult to code like penalty systems into sports games.
It's totally random, but basically
like the amount of times I've been playing the F1 games and like some guy will crash into me and I'll get a penalty. It must be insanely difficult to code that kind of thing to figure out, because how can you figure out whose fault a thing was?
It's essentially random, basically. I mean, I don't know if you guys know. Do you guys even know anything about football? Like, just like the rules. Like, what I'm about to say is gonna be like Chinese or
a little bit. I used to watch football in high school, but that was a long time ago.
I'm actually, I'm genuinely curious.
I know you kick a ball. I know you kick a ball from one end to the other.
I actually
wait. No, I'm thinking of soccer. No, because
well,
I knew he was too, and I didn't say.
You do kick a ball. You punt the ball like across the field.
I mean, true, but
remember,
football.
Here's a quick lesson: soccer, rugby, and football were all the same sport, and they broke apart. And the term soccer was invented by the British, and we just kept it. We just kept it here.
That's so funny to me.
We just kept it here. So it's not America. America doesn't call it soccer because we just want to be different. the British just left it here, and we just kept it.
Right.
Yes.
It's not a Fahrenheit Celsius deal. All right.
So-
or the imperial measurement shit.
In a different universe, rugby would probably have been our most popular sport, if not
Honestly,
if football
it
just
would've
if
been. It's got all
football
the physicality of
didn't show
hockey
up.
with
Yeah, because rugby is really fun to watch. We do have a rugby team in the U.S., but they're not very good. I guess I don't know. They don't put a lot of money into it, I suppose.
No, okay.
Because we do have obviously a lot of great athletes because we have 300 million people. We always do the best in the Olympics, but we have the unfair advantage of numbers. But the money isn't the reason why we don't have the reason why other sports are not as popular is because we don't invest in that. Soccer is like football and baseball. I want a really quick tangent. Baseball, basketball, football gets underprivileged kids and gives them scholarships and things like that. So the best athletes and you make a lot more money in those sports. In soccer though, you can only get into college and scholarships. So other countries like Brazil and things like that, all the third world not Brazil's not third world country, but third world countries, all the poor kids dream of being soccer players and they move up and all that. But in America, it's all the dream is football and baseball and basketball. So there's no money in soccer. If our best athletes focused on soccer, we'd be a lot better at.
Because the problem is as well, it's
at soccer. I mean,
it's difficult for countries to get into sports that they're not already into.
Mm-hmm.
Because to use F1 again as an analogy, it's if a kid watches Fernando Alonso, driving an F1 and sees him winning races and stuff. He's gonna be watching that thinking, I want to do that one day, because and he's rooting for the Spanish guy, because he's Spanish, and that kind of snowballs. But no kid in America is watching Logan Sargent driving at the back of the grid and saying, I want to get into F1 and score no points ever. I'd probably get
You're
fired
right.
after 6 months.
It's true.
So
it just adds
so the
culture is the big thing, right? Culture, football, in Florida, for example, we live and breathe it. It's like you guys watch American movies, in high school and stuff. It's always a high school team, a football team, the varsity. Everybody's wearing a jacket. They get the cheerleader. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's like that in real life. It's part of our culture. It's you never watch a movie and soccer. The soccer team is the main, the main characters, the main the popular kids of the school. It's always the football team.
Unless it's Bendit like Beckham.
Yeah, right. So it's just part of our. It's just the culture. But I do think the big part of that is also because soccer is more accessible. I think soccer you just get the ball and you can make a net out of anything. Where in football you have to wear I mean don't get me wrong, we played football all the time. You didn't have to have pads and everything, but you still have to have an equipment to play on a real team and stuff. So, but anyway,
legitimize it.
But Madden, I think people are not gonna like the new passing mechanics. I think they definitely changed it a bit. It's more precise, and I actually like it. But but you can. Good thing is you can keep the old one if you want, so it's not that bad. The biggest thing I hate about Madden every year is the fact that they're lazy with the superstar mode. I really wish, NBA 2K does this amazingly, or some 50-50, is when they get a story mode. Or, I would love to get an actual legit, fully cutscened, fully voiced, story mode where you can make a character and go through the journey of college and getting drafted in the NFL. We've gotten that in Madden here and there, but it's always, way too scripted. Where I feel I have no freedom, and it's everything's so predetermined, and it's
Was it a basketball game where they had a whole fully semi-high budget fully cutscened?
That's every basketball game.
Story mode and stuff.
Yeah, they
true, but I remember 1 year they had they put a lot of budget into it, and there was proper writing credits and
I think you're thinking of NBA 15, which is where they got they hired all the actual basketball players to do voice acting, and it was terrible.
I think that might have been it. Okay,
that's true.
Okay.
No,
maybe it wasn't.
Every single year every NBA 2K has that. It's just that some are better than the others, depending how lazy they are with it. Madden tried that too. They actually had like Hollywood people in it. It was like a film, like a movie, had like widescreen and legit
They had like
cutscenes.
Orlando Bloom and David Harbour in it.
Pretty much
The
something like
David
that.
Harbour cinematic universe. That's what we need. Just David Harbour coming in, just calling people a bunch of lazy gamers.
So
and then
Gran
they become
Turismo
sports
2,
stars.
he's
That's
gonna
how
play.
it
He's gonna play Hellboy.
goes. Okay, nobody's watched pretty much it. Nobody watches pretty much it. The YouTube channel by any chance, do they?
Of course, I love pretty much it.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
okay.
my
Have you
favorite.
seen their Stranger Things 3?
Yeah,
reaction?
Hellboy, woo! He's got the glove. He's got the fist. He's got the hand.
And
He's got
then
the red hand.
And then when he says "see you in hell" at the very end, they just lose their minds.
I know. Oh, that's
okay.
I'm
Top
so
10.
glad you get that reference.
That's amazing.
I'm so glad.
Yes.
You're a true fan if you know that.
Uh,
and also
yes,
go
yes.
Tigers.
Yeah. Go Tiger. Anyways,
yeah.
back to Madden. But yeah.
But no, that's pretty much it. Like if it's a guilty pleasure for me. If you like it, the presentation's okay. It's still sad that NFL 2K5 from PS2 era still has the greatest presentation of a football game ever, and that came out 18 years ago. I'm not even joking. Like they had an ESPN presentation, like a whole like broadcast, and like people in the studio. It was incredible. Like the presentation and the physics in that game were actually better than Madden in 2023. In 2005, so it's really it is sad. We have no competition in football. Like there's no. There used to back in the day. It used to be NFL 2K5 and Madden, and then Madden has the exclusive license to it. So there's no absolutely zero competition. Actually, in fact, every sports game in the U.S. has a monopoly. MLB show has no competition anymore. There's no MLB 2K anymore. NBA the show is gone now, so it's only NBA 2K, and Madden has no competition. None of the sports game has competition.
Isn't FIFA gone as well? Like, aren't they like rebranding it to EA's own?
Yeah, they had to change
branding?
it. They had to change the name, but it's still FIFA. Like there's no competition.
Yeah,
I mean,
oh,
no,
yeah.
Well, there's Pez, right? I think Pez was pretty
Yeah,
good last
okay,
year, from my
Pez.
understanding. That's the only one that has competition. Actually, now I think about it. And they don't.
Yeah.
You don't get any like you remember Rockstar did like that table tennis like game and stuff. You don't get games like that anymore. Where's our bad?
To be fair, we don't.
Where's our
to be
bad?
fair, we don't
Sorry,
get-
go ahead.
We don't get. So I was gonna say we don't get any games from Rockstar period anymore outside of GTA and Red Dead. That's the only games they're gonna do for the rest of eternity.
Yeah.
Like
I mean-
they're never gonna make another
Sure.
original IP again.
Where's
which
our
sucks, but-
Where's our badminton 24? Like we deserve badminton 24.
Yeah, they don't make them like they used to. That's for sure.
No.
No, because they used to make
Yeah.
like tennis games and golf. I mean, they used to make golf games. That's PGA, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like it actually was a plus game, which is I guess weird. But they don't. They used to make like sports games like for everything. Now they don't. Then like now you don't get any of that anymore. Yeah. So next
that's
week,
right.
next week is gonna be very stacked. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for that. I'm gonna be talking about Ahsoka and One Piece and Sea of Stars and Starfield will be right around the corner. So
Just for clarification, I
We'll
think
have-
Seb
we'll have
means
game-
next episode,
we'll have
not next
Gamescom.
week.
yeah, next whatever. I always say that. Next episode. Whatever
Yeah,
that's
you always
Yeah.
says that. Next episode.
next
Dragon Ball
episode.
Z.
Yeah. Nah, and we'll see what happens.
Gamescom is also happening in a few days.
And Gamescom's happening.
who
Right.
knows?
Is anyone?
Yeah.
Is anyone watching Twisted Metal? Because
I
no.
I have Peacock
I've
now,
heard,
so
I've
will.
watched a
I've heard
few
decent
videos,
things about
but
it.
I think I'm gonna watch it. So
It's on my
we can talk about that
agenda
at some
for
point.
this week. Yeah. Yeah.
So you
I,
and Seb can talk
I'll
about it.
say, yeah.
So I'm gonna be next
Yeah.
episode. I'm gonna be very show heavy. I'm gonna talk about 3. If I watch Twisted Metal, One Piece, and Ahsoka, I have 3 shows to talk about. So it's gonna be a very loaded episode. Yep. All right. You all go. Have a good night. Peace.
Bye.
Goodbye.